What's up, everybody? Polius here with a new Let's Play, Sentinels of the Multiverse, the video game. And you'll see why in a moment, but I just want to introduce, I've got a guest host for this one. Say hi, Jason.
Hey, guys.
This is based off of a really super fun card-based board game, fixed deck card game, called, well, Sentinels of the Multiverse. And part of the reason why I would like to do this with actual player with another person to commentate is because you look at it, it's all card based, and it's not a lot of visuals, so it's going to be heavily reliant on my commentary. But I want to get right into this. The whole concept of the game is to pick several different heroes from this list here. The scroll function isn't that great. I'm hoping to fix that. Then pick a villain. The heroes, each player generally picks a hero. Then they all together pick the villain to fight. And then an environment to fight on. The way the villain deck works is it's basically like programming. You have a chance of each villain turn playing whatever card, and that card then creates the conditions the heroes have to deal with. Same with the environment, which is an interesting way of setting up kind of a AI for using cards. Jason here, even though he's seen the game before, he's going to act as my springboard for explaining how the game works for this first episode.
Yep.
I've got a bunch of friends who enjoy this, so I'll be doing this quite a bit, at least once per villain.
Yep. Before we decide villains, should I be allowed to meddle in in setting up the game and the challenge that you have to go through, or
I think for this first one, I want to do the Freedom 4 versus Baron Blade.
Fair enough. That's actually what I was largely going to suggest. Freedom 4 or Freedom 5, Baron Blade, and Megalopolis.
Let's do Freedom 4, Baron Blade. We can introduce Absolute Zero later. The thing about this game, and one of the things I really like about it, is I'm big on character. And this game has a lot of characterization. Each character is pretty well designed to be pretty darn unique. And they've got like little quotes at the bottom that add a lot of flavor. Both of our favorite is Unity here. We'll get to her in a future video, and she's just adorable. Anyway,
if we don't play Unity in the second episode, I'm punching you.
You live in Texas. Anyway, so the Freedom 4, you've got Legacy is basically kind of like Captain America, Superman. That's a lantern on his chest, not a cake. Thank you, Jason. And like his whole backstory is that he's the great grandson of somebody who rode with Paul Revere. It's like I said, it's a lot of fun. You got Tachyon, the fastest woman on Earth, and no, that's not Stan Lee's Just Imagine the Flash. You've got Bunker, who's basically War Machine, kind of like Iron Man but with the military. And who is the last one of Freedom 4?
That would be the Wraith.
The Wraith,
who is Batman with a cleavage window.
So Cassandra Cain. I mean, like, it even reflects that in her incapacity. We'll get into incapacitated later. But, so now we have our 4 heroes.
Not this episode.
Probably not in this episode.
We're playing incapacitated against Baron Blade, we're dumb.
Okay, so, each villain plays very different. Well, most villains play pretty darn differently. Baron Blade, you notice they have, instead of incapacity, they have flip sides. And I'm sure you guys anyone who's a comic book fan, and if you're watching this, you probably are. Baron Blade is basically Lex Luthor and Doctor Doom. He's like the, king of Moldavia or something.
He's even like vaguely Eastern European.
Yeah, there's no voice acting in this, but in one of the ads, he does have an Eastern European accent. It's pretty terrible.
And
his accent is pretty it's clearly an American doing the accent. Anyway, so here we go. At the start of the game, Baron Blade enters play. Terra Lunar Impulsion Beam Inventor side up. God, I love comic books. So he's pulling the moon into the planet. One mobile defense platform is put into play. The villain deck is shuffled. At the start of the villain turn, if there are 15 or more cards in the villain trash, Baron Blade's Terra Lunar Impulsion Beam activates, pulling the moon into the Earth. Game over. So there's a ticking time bomb. It's not as terrible as it sounds for this version. However, there are advanced rules that make this really, really hectic. Anyway, when he would be destroyed, when he's reduced from 40 health to 0, he flips over instead. And I'm going to read the flipped over text whenever it happens, just because my preference of play is that I don't learn what the flipped over text is until it happens. It adds a little bit of drama to it for a new villain, which is why I don't know what Spite does, even though I've had him like both in this game and for a while. Anyway, so we're going to do, this is basically Superman City, or what's it called again, Jason? You can actually look things up.
The one that's...
Metropolis.
Yeah, it's Metropolis. How do you forget Metropolis?
Because I'm busy trying to Let's Play at the same time.
Look how mega it is. It's got a funny bunny.
It does have a funny
Metropolis ain't got no funny bunny.
Anyway, this is unfortunately the only time like you'll see dialogue between heroes and villains, and I do hope that they will change that for a little bit, because this looks like a comic book that's playing. Anyway, I'm not going to try an Eastern European accent. I don't want to offend anyone. But
neither am I.
What?
Neither am I.
Yeah. See, I mean, like, so you've got, here's the field of play for Baron Blade, and it starts off mentioning the mobile defense platform. So he's now immune to damage. We have to destroy his floating fortress first.
He's practically untouchable if we don't.
Yeah. And now we've got the Blade Battalion. So the way it works is you have a start of turn, where start of turn effects happen, then you have the play phase, and then you have the end of turn. So you notice that these guys say at the end of the villain turn, they deal the hero target with the highest HP, X, or X is their hit points, melee damage. So, and that activates, in order, a sequence of the cards that have been played at the end of the turn. Heroes have it slightly different. They've got a start of turn, then they can play a card, then they use a power, like you'll notice here it says power, galvanize, and then they draw a card, then it's their end of turn. So, my philosophy is reduce damage first, right? Because you don't want, if the less damage you're taking over time, the more effective that card is. So I'm going to play that, so Legacy's harder to hurt. And this is just an amazing power. Everyone deals increased damage. Legacy's never going to get advantage of it because it ends at the start of his turn. But everyone else...
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, everyone else, especially Bunker, is going to be our damage dealer, probably. Or Wraith, probably. Depends on what you draw for Bunker. And this is another great card. Everyone heals, and everyone deals more damage. Yep. Legacy's got like the highest marks for plays nice with others.
Tachyon. Meanwhile, Tachyon is good at doing two things: filling her trash full of burst cards, and then using hypersonic barrage to make those trash cards do some serious hurt.
Right. So trash being discard pile, just to be sure about. Wow, that sounded really patronizing. I am sorry, everyone. I was a jerk there. Anyway, so you'll notice some of her cards, her best cards, say X damage, where X is the number of burst cards in your trash. And this is where having this as a computer game and not as a card game is really nice. I don't have to keep counting. I can just check up here. Okay, so Baron Blade has no cards in his trash. Every hero target is dealing at +1 damage, and Tachyon has no burst cards in her trash. Anyway, so let's look at what we've got here. Each player may draw a card, you may play a card. Let's start with that one. Pushing the limits isn't useful until you have a large hand. Yeah. So Legacy has one of his signature cards, immune to damage from environment. Tachyon's getting Synaptic Interruption. That's a great card. Bunker gets Gatling. That's an okay card. You have to mill through your hand, though. So. Yeah. And
it's really good if he has the right support. If we had, like, Visionary on our team, oh my god.
Somebody who lets him draw cards, and, yeah. There are some characters who are really good with other characters. Some combinations that are really fun. Anyway, so we're going to play the card that Tachyon just drew. It redirects damage she would take. And it's a burst card, so when it gets destroyed by that redirection, it improves her thing, her burst effect. Now we're going to use her power, Rapid Recon. I look at the top card of her deck, and if it's a card that I want to keep, I put it back. If not, I discard it. It's an okay burst card. This is rarely going to be an actual thing that comes up, so we're going to go ahead and discard it. We're going to discard the Sucker Punch. We fight honorably here. Hey, do you know if Synaptic Interruption, if you have more than one, they both activate at the same time? Jason? We lost Jason. Alright, well, I guess we're going to keep going. So again, I have the philosophy of deal damage reduction first. Oh, welcome back.
Yep, sorry about that.
That's alright. So I was just saying, do you know if Synaptic Interruption... if you have two out, they both activate when you take the 3 damage.
Oh, that sucks.
I was gonna say, do you know? Anyway,
well, I do now.
Bunker, I don't know. It may not. I think one will activate before the other. We'll find out. Part of the fun is experimenting. Bunker's base power, he doesn't deal damage, he just draws a card. But he eventually gets things like Grenade Launcher, which deal lots of damage to lots of things. Yep. So we're gonna draw a card. Because it'll be nice getting more cards in hand, and then at the end of his turn he still draws a regular card. So basically, you're trading a power for draw. All right. As for Wraith, she doesn't really have much here, does she?
She really doesn't.
Let's go with combat stance. First time she'd take damage, she would instead deal. She also deals that target 2 melee damage.
Hold on. Is she at the highest hit points?
No, she isn't. She's at 26.
Then she's not liable to be taking any damage next turn.
Yeah, so I guess what? Trust Fund lets her draw 4 cards and then discard 2.
Yeah, especially since this environment doesn't really do a lot of damage that's really scary. You can get rid of Mega Computer.
Yeah, it just deals obnoxiousness. There's a bunch of stuff I can get rid of.
Oh yeah, we have a second utility belt, which...
Well, Baron Blade can destroy... Okay, yeah, there are different types of cards here. Let's go ahead and explain that. So you have one-shots, which are discarded at the beginning of... or as soon as they're played. Then you have ongoings and equipments. They both last, you know, they're both ongoing effects. It's just... 1 second. Go ahead and keep explaining the Jason.
Alright, ongoings and equipments are basically permanents. If you're a Magic the Gathering fan, they're enchantments and artifacts. Really, the only difference between the two is there are cards that require an equipment and cards that require an ongoing effect. And there are villain cards that will screw around with your equipment or your ongoings, sometimes both. If I recall correctly, Baron Blade screws around with both, so it isn't as big a deal as Joey's making it out to be, but it's something to keep in mind.
Alright, I don't remember if Baron Blade deals anything with ongoings.
Devious Disruption deals damage based on the amount of ongoings.
I thought it was just equipment. Anyway, sorry about that. Well, alright, well, let's get rid of the Mega Computer, because we don't really need it for the damage reduction.
No, we don't.
Mega Computer reduces all environment damage by 1, so it's meh. And Wraith's base power is okay. It's pretty situational.
Yeah.
Reduce the next damage to be dealt to Wraith by 2, so it's not like Bunkers or Legacy's cards, which reduce their damage permanently. Oh, this is a good card. Reveal the top 2 cards of the villain's deck.
We need to play that like as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Baron Blade gets completely hosed if you control what's on the top of his deck.
Speaking of getting hosed, this is the really annoying thing about Megalopolis. Here, let's go back to it, because these don't stay up as long as I'd like. Oh, come on. Okay.
Are you done, Baron?
Alright. So, Baron Blade played something. Yep, hostage situation prevented me from playing. Sorry, I skipped through these a little bit faster than I want to. So now Baron Blade basically has that combat stance that Wraith has. We mentioned that. Hostage situation. Hero cards can't be played. We have to each discard a card. Each hero. Now the interesting technicality of this is if you have a player playing 2 heroes, which I do on occasion when I'm only playing with one other friend, technically that player only needs to discard 1 card, I think. I'm not sure how that really works. Anyway, so all Legacy can do is increase damage.
This game is balanced around the idea that, technically speaking, every hero has a different player.
Right.
It basically exists more or less completely to hose you over.
Okay, oh, this is a great card. We're going to keep this.
Oh yeah, we want that on the board as soon as we can get it.
Basically, the more cards I can get, and it also lets me start putting more burst cards in the discard pile, just the better everything goes for Tachyon. Generally, the more cards you have, draw power is one of the best things in the game. Anyway, one effect of this is you can skip your turn to draw 2 cards instead, but for Bunker, there's really no point.
Yeah.
So.
He's not going to get anything.
Alright.
Well, now we have all 3 of those out. If we wanted to go through a few hundred turns of setup, we could get it so Bunker is using 5 powers in 1 turn.
Right. Or just doesn't... You can just destroy it at the start of your turn, I thought. Oh, no, power. Yeah. Draw 3 cards. Yeah.
Yeah, so, that was what I was suggesting, if you destroy 3 of them at the start of your turn.
So I'm going to make use of that with Wraith, though. I'm going to go ahead and skip. So we got another Mega Computer. We got 2 Mega Computers. And now we get to destroy this.
Trust Fund, discard. Oh, yeah.
Legacy.
Legacy.
Danger Sense, because again, there's not a whole lot of environment damage.
this were certain other maps I can name, I would almost certainly have discarded one of the damage cards.
Right.
But because this is Megalopolis,
having the damage is nice. Let's go ahead and get rid of pushing the limits.
Yeah, we don't want to get rid of light speed barrage. We don't want to get rid of research grant. We don't want to get rid of synaptic interruption, and we really, really want to have a way to kill ongoing effects.
Right. For Bunker, this is a pretty decent card. So at the start of your turn, you can destroy it for an extra power, but you can only use the same power, 1 power per turn. What I mean is, like, so if I have grenade launcher out, I can only use the grenade launcher once per turn. So the other power is to draw 3 cards to destroy this card. I don't like the amount of time that takes to set up, so I'm going to go ahead and confirm.
I'd get rid of the second. No, I'd get rid of the second grenade launcher. The auxiliary power source has the chance to be useful. You're not going to need 2 grenade launchers, and especially when you have decommissioned hardware in your hand.
And that's part of why I like having a second player for this. And Mega Computer.
Mega Computer is discard fodder in Megalopolis.
Yeah. Hey, but the thing I like about this is, it does create a story. Like, first there was the hostage situation. Now we have a police backup. So we deal with the hostage situation. Now the police are freed up to help out or what have you. Slash and burn. So one hero takes 4 damage. Another hero takes 6 damage. Wow. Fortunately, Bunker's got armor, and I'm actually gonna do this because synaptic interruption will redirect it. Since they both have the highest health, we get to decide which one takes it.
Oh man, and he has backlash field up, so he's gonna hit himself in the face!
He's not, because he's got the mobile defense platform. I was gonna redirect it to the Blade Battalion and get rid of him.
Yeah, that was probably a better idea. I forgot about the mobile defense platform.
Or we could direct it to the mobile defense platform and then use Backfist Strike to destroy that.
Ooh, that's also a good idea.
Let's pull that off. Well...
Or we could use Backfish Strike to soften up the Blade Battalion and use the grenade launcher that Bunker has in his hand to wipe the board.
Would it wipe the board? It wouldn't destroy the mobile defense platform.
Oh, right, because we don't have Inspiring Presence out. Damn.
Right. I'm going to say that taking the 5 damage is okay to get rid of this so we can actually start hurting Blade.
Alternatively, we could still use the mobile defense. We could still use Inspiring Presence and the grenade launcher. 2 damage to the platform, 2 damage to Blade Battalion, and 1 damage to Baron Blade. Will go up to 4, 4, and 3.
Yeah, let's do that. So Legacy's healing, Tachyon's already at max, Bunker regained 1, and Wraith is already at max. So you can't overheal in this game.
It's a pity.
Alright, lead from the front. Redirects damage from villains to Legacy.
If you wanted to.
If you wanted to. It is an optional thing. Alright. Destroy 1 ongoing or 1 environment card. You know what?
Screw the backlash field.
Does it have another effect? No, but it is a burst card, so... Oh no, I don't want to destroy police backup. I actually should have waited for Wraith to do that. Because if we had the paparazzi one... Paparazzi is a card that on the environment deck that keeps you from using powers, so it's obnoxious.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh well. Oh, do not want to destroy that. That's one of her key cards.
That is
additional play a card. Take it, please.
Yeah.
If it didn't say limited, I would take 2.
Oh yeah.
All right. Anyway, so grenade launcher. Let's go ahead and do it. So it's. And this is in sequence, so we get to decide that, 4 to here. Destroys that. 4 to here. And now we can decide to hit Blade, so he doesn't take the damage simultaneously, it's dealt in order we choose.
But softening up the Blade Battalion now seems like pretty solid idea. Because they're actually going to punch us, and the amount of punching they do is based on their health.
Right.
Knocking them down to 1
is nice.
Neuters them.
Okay. So let's see.
Infrared Googles.
Yeah. Okay, Google. What's the villain going to use?
Okay. Let's see. Each player discards a card.
I'd rather Blade heal himself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let me actually read what this does. So each player discards 1 card. Baron Blade then deals each hero 2 sonic damage. Discard X cards, where X from the top of the villain deck, where X is the number of hero cards discarded this turn. So yeah, I'd rather him heal himself 10 hit points.
Yeah, especially since I think he's still at full health.
Right. So no, he took 3 damage from Bunker, and he's going to take 1 from the police, but that'll be after this. No, it'll be before.
It's a pity that the cops aren't going to shoot the Blade Battalion. That would be convenient.
It would be, but comic book police really aren't always the most useful unless they eventually become a superhero.
Yep.
Anyway, so we're selecting the one that goes on top of the deck, and then the other one by default goes on the bottom. So he gets Flesh Repair Nanites, and then we drew another infrared eyepiece. You can use 2 at a turn.
Yeah.
In fact, that's how you unlock the Wraith's alternate variant card. And let's see what we get. Close quarters combat, or cramped quarters combat. So all damage is now melee. Increases the damage of all damage by 1.
By 1.
And so I just imagine the police dogpiling him now. It's funny.
Yep.
Alright, so Tachyon took the 2 damage. Alright. So, normally you don't want to give up Galvanize, because just +1 damage for everyone is really good. However, Motivational Charge is, everyone heals and he deals 2 damage. It's pretty tempting. The thing I like is the Legacy Ring. It's equipment, limited equipment lets you use an additional power during your phase. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play Motivational Charge. And we're going to
use it next turn after we get the Legacy Ring out.
Heroic Interception. So Legacy hurts himself, but then heroes other than Legacy are immune to damage.
It is a fantastic card.
Alright. So I'm going to play the HUD Goggles. And then I'm going to go ahead and play Research Grant.
Yep.
And use it. HUD Goggles lets her play an extra card. I think I mentioned that. Sonic Vortex deals up to X targets 3 sonic damage, where X is the number of burst cards. And Fleet of Foot.
Fleet of Foot is so good.
It is. I'm thinking get rid of Vortex, because there aren't going to be a lot of targets out.
Yeah, there's going to be, at most 3 if we're putzing around. Okay,
So now you're going to see how she can get a lot of burst cards in the discard pile.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
Bunker's turn.
Let's see.
Sorry, the dog is telling me a dirt. Person is home. I must be loud. Sorry, I forgot that they were in the room. I'm thinking Adhesive Foam Grenade. Adhesive Foam Grenade prevents environment cards from being played for a turn.
I like Adhesive Foam Grenade, and
I don't like the environment, so
yep.
Let's go for it.
We don't have a good draw engine out, so the Gatling gun isn't a good idea.
Right, because you have to discard a card from your hand for it to stay out. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and say that better than drawing a card, Bunker dealing damage is the way to go.
Oh yeah, let's hit Baron. I like how it's now melee damage.
So he's just smacking him in the head with a... Well, it's on his shoulder, so I guess he's body checking him? I don't know. Anyway, here's the thing I really like, or one of the nuances of the game that I really like. So I have up to may deal damage. Yep. So after this, if for some crazy reason, and there are actually reasons to do this, you wanted to deal damage to one of the heroes, you have that option.
As an idea that we could have had, if we had played Synaptic Interruption, we could have shot a grenade at Tachyon, who would have then thrown it at Baron Blade.
Right, exactly. Or you can just stop dealing damage. So that's the other thing Bunker has. Other than his equipment, he has what are called mode cards. They all prevent him from doing a certain thing. Also, anyway, they all prevent him from doing a certain thing, like in this case, drawing or playing cards, but they all give a pretty darn good effect. In this case, he can use an additional power, and his damage is increased by 1. So now you can see why you want to get a whole bunch of guns out. Now, Gatling gun doesn't count because it isn't a power.
No, Gatling gun is hilarious to use with the other modes, though, because the other modes will have you drawing cards like mad, and the Gatling gun will never stop firing.
Right. It's pretty fantastic. Anyway, I am thinking, go ahead and get combat stance out.
I would have gone utility.
Utility, well, alright, let's do utility.
You do technically have 2 powers out.
I do. But I like combat stance.
Yeah.
Because if we end... Well, no, we're not going to get any environments that have an effect on me yet. So, yeah. Alright, and let's see what Blade's going to do. Oh. That's actually a fairly tough call.
Yeah.
Not really, no. It isn't.
No, we have plenty of
damage.
Ongoing kill.
I'd like to save that for... Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Well, remember... We can control the top of his deck if we're judicious about it.
Which we're doing right now. If we want to get
really judicious about it, we can put on 2 infrared eyepieces and completely hose him. Baron Blade gets really hosed by the Wraith if the Wraith does her job.
See, this is how I like Batman. I always have a problem with Batman being like some god ninja. But when he's the world's greatest detective, he is a really cool character. Also... Razor Ordnance. Deals 1 target 3 projectile damage. Yes, please.
Admittedly, I kind of enjoy the bits of Batman wherein he uses his vast degree of I know exactly what you're planning to screw with the other guy's plan.
But that's him being the world's greatest detective.
Yeah. It's not him just, like, pulling something out of its ass. It's him, like, actually setting something up. Right.
Anyway, here's what we're going to do. Legacy Ring. Then I'm going to galvanize so that all heroes, including Legacy, I mentioned that he doesn't normally get the benefit from his own power, but in this case he will.
Yep.
Confirm. Whack! Then Blade deals damage. Unfortunately, it is going to be more damage because they're nemesis. Means that, see how he's got that little symbol right there? And they share a symbol, which means that they both deal increased damage to each other.
Specifically, it was because Legacy's dad, like, completely ruined his hometown during the Cold War.
Yeah, Cold War was not the best time for anyone.
Baron Blade got even with one Legacy. Specifically, he killed the current Legacy's dad, and that's unfortunately he's not done. He's not done killing Legacy.
Yeah, he wants to wipe out the entire family line. The whole thing about Legacy is their powers, like, mutants from. Do the X-Men have powers that... No, they don't. I'm thinking of something else. All the Legacy powers, like, come into power being at age 18 or whatever, so Blade wasn't able to wipe the Legacy line out before. This Legacy is basically immune to injury. That's why he's able to stop a missile. Anyway, so, we're going to chain some stuff together. We're going to play Fleet of Foot. Let's everyone draw a card. And then let's Tachyon play a card. Ammo drop is nice.
A card such as, perhaps, Fleet of Foot?
Yeah, let's play another Fleet of Foot. Thuck. Supersonic response.
Ooh, this is a fun one to use.
Especially with Backlash Field.
That's why it's fun.
Oh, and this is one of the Wraith's best cards.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, so what I've got... I still have 2 cards I can play, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Actually, I think more fun than using this one. I know you were thinking about with the Backlash Field. But I think more fun would be to play Synaptic Interception and then play it. So the Blade damages himself.
Well, if you're going to burn the Synaptic Interruption on something, I'd burn it on Bunker so Bunker can get more damage out.
That's true. So play this first?
Yeah.
Alright.
If you're going to redirect something...
So, yeah, the way Supersonic Response works, and I don't know why, that's a hero that she's attacking, is that she deals 1 target 2 melee damage, and then if she takes damage since the last turn, in other words, from the reaction, she deals 2 sonic damage. So this should deal 8 damage total because of Galvanize and Inspiring Presence. Let's find out, shall we?
Alright, first, punch him in the face. Right. Then,
Backlash Field activates. Takes 3 damage, so now, yep, Supersonic Response does in fact activate.
Yep.
And then let's go ahead and play Synaptic Interruption.
Response?
And draw 2 cards, discard a card. So we've got another Supersonic Response. That's quite nice. Another Lightspeed Barrage. That's real nice. And we have to discard a card. G.
Well,
this isn't very good. It's good. There's some villains it's really good against, but not this one. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the only thing we needed was to play more cards in a turn.
I mean, yeah, apparently. So the card Bunker Drew is what lets him get around the turret mode thing. Whenever a villain card is destroyed, you may draw a card, even if the mode says you cannot. Fantastic. Oh, and we have the extra draw effect.
Man.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play Gatling Gun.
Yes. I'm sorry. I love when it's possible to make Gatling Gun work.
Yeah, Gatling Guns. Jason and I are a lot alike. We like the things that, are weird, like don't normally work. Like we like the strange combinations that you can pull off. Backlash Shield activates. It's going to take heavy plating, and then we're going to shoot Tachyon with a grenade launcher, and she's going to redirect the explosion. Confirm. And that puts another burst card in her discard. And then we're going to stop doing
I like to imagine that she was just standing right next to Baron Blade.
Alright, now Gatling Gun says we need to discard a card. Let's go ahead and get rid of heavy plating.
We already got a heavy plating. No sense in keeping it.
Anyway, we're going to play an impromptu invention. She draws a card, puts an equipment card either into play in her hand, why not put it into play, and then can play another card. It's just so good. And we got one of her best cards. Anyway, so we're going to get... a
lot of good options here.
A lot of good options. What I'm actually thinking is... who's got the highest health? Tachyon. Actually, no, the Wraith does. I'm actually thinking, let's go ahead and get the micro-targeting computer, increases her damage by 2.
Yep.
And then use the play a card effect to get Razor Ordnance out.
Yep. That's a pretty good one. I like it.
Put that in play. And put this in play. So now she can use 2 powers. We're going to infrared eyepiece.
If you got
Blade Battalion.
Yeah.
Well, this one deals damage to all hero cards and then plays the top card of the villain deck, which is where you start seeing why Baron Blade can get a lot of cards in his discard pile, if we, we're doing this to him.
Yeah, Baron Blade has a really good stall deck, and that's irritating.
Right. Anyway, and then we're going to do Razor Ordnance on him, because this is like 7 damage. It's worth the Wraith taking some damage.
Wraith can take a punch. She's tough.
She is tough. Wait.
Oh. Apparently we stealthed the whole
Right,
match.
we stealthed twice.
And she never got
I
hit
didn't
in
know
the
they
face.
stacked like that.
Well, okay, I guess stealth is situationally useful. Also, yes, more cops!
More police officers. And his backlash field can't activate on them because they don't have health. If they had health, then it would make sense if they did have health. But anyway, Blade Battalion. So we're going to take some damage now. There we go. There's the damage that she missed.
Oh, wow.
Alright. Bolster allies. Everyone draws a card.
Yeah, you really ain't got nothing better to use.
Oh, I mean, I've got Thok. I do have some good stuff to use, but...
Yeah.
And this is the other thing I like about this game. Choose for me. Because otherwise I'm just clicking all this. There is some advantage to deciding who draws when. But really, the Legacy Ring. Oh, a burst card that is marginally useful. Maintenance unit, which heals him, which is really good power. And then another micro-targeting computer. Alright, so we're going to galvanize first.
Always galvanize first.
And then motivational charge. Yes. So
you can't quite kill the Blade Battalion, but
I can't quite kill the Blade Battalion, so I'm just gonna go with this. Boom.
Bonk.
And so now he is Lex Luthor. So
Oh,
backlash
no.
field is taking damage.
We have broken his Terra Lunar Impulsion Beam, so now he's using a slightly different beam.
Alright.
One attached to his fist.
Right, so now Baron Blade is flipped to the side. His max HP is 30 as opposed to, what was it, 40? Oops.
Yep.
He's restored to that 30 health. The villain trash is placed on top of the villain deck. All 3 copies of Mobile Defense Platform are then moved to his trash, because now he's personally fighting, he's not hiding on a defensive platform. And then the villain deck is shuffled. At the end of the villain turn, Baron Blade deals the hero target with the highest HP 4 energy damage. And those little asterisks, that usually means that that's an H, and it'll be like H minus 2 or whatever. It's the number of heroes in game. Anyway. So. Lightning Reflexes. I can play 2 cards. Okay? So how many cards can I really play? Does it tell me? No.
Let's see. You
3.
Can play
I can
2
play
after
3.
that, and then 1 more.
How many burst cards do I have? 9?
Yeah, you got 9.
Do we win? No. We almost do. So I got 2 more cards I can play, right? No, 3.
Yeah.
So I think we actually do win. There's
Play
supersonic
the
response. So she takes damage, or she deals damage. She takes damage. Then she deals it. And then 2 of these. We win! Ha 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 ha!
Yep, so we do.
Alright. And this is where Tachyon is fantastic. She can just drop
yeah.
so much damage.
What's what? 32 damage in 1 turn? Holy crap.
I like to think that she alone did that to him, just by punching him a lot. So, this is a fun game, and I plan on doing this more because there are lots of villains, lots of combinations to do, lots of heroes to use.
And at some point we have to go through Rook City and suffer through that together.
Oh God, Rook City. Some of the environments are less loving than others. Anyway, this has been Paulius with his good friend Jason.
Yay. See you later, guys.
Take care.